welcome back to Edu Kingdom. I'm Selena and we'll be going through test 22 today. So as usual, before we begin, we're just gonna look at the focus or the goals for this test. So this will probably be similar to what we have done previously before, but I just read the text and I wanted to bring focus to these goals specifically. So the first one is reading the question. So some of these questions are looking for a specific answer, or they're actually just asking us to be a bit more specific with our answers, right? So it's important that we are not really straying, or we're not slightly convinced that it may be a different answer because it may not be related at all. In this case, I really want to focus on the relevance of your answer, or of our answers. The second one is to read with purpose. So I think there are 2 points I want to bring up here. So firstly, what is the purpose of the text? Like, what do you think the text is trying to tell us? And secondly, what do you think, what message did you get from the text? So I think that goes down to like author, reader, purpose, like a intent, ethereal intent as well. So yeah, that flows really well actually though with my third point, which is reflecting on the text. So although the author might be trying to convince you of side A, maybe you actually felt like it was really convincing to side B, right? Because maybe the text wasn't that great, right? So I think this critical lens, right, or this analysis is really good in developing just critical thinking, honestly, right? So do feel free to reflect on the text and just think to yourself, like, what emotions are you feeling? Like, what side are you being persuaded by? Yeah, I also know that not many students like to do this, right? Well, and that's perfectly fine. I do, like, text will not always engage you, but good responses, specifically in short answer and long extended response answers, they usually have this critical lens. And some of these multiple choice questions will actually ask you to do this reflecting as well. Yeah, so just some things to keep in mind as we go through test 22. So let's get started on the first extract for questions 1, 2, 3. So this extract is from Dancing Dinosaurs by Jackie French. It's mainly about Dr. Angela Boardman and Michael. Michael has submitted some work, or like a picture of dinosaurs, and as per his teacher's suggestions, and Dr. Angela Boardman is just basically coming in to congratulate him. We don't really know exactly why, like if she's here to offer him something like a scholarship or an offer to study. We just know that she's there to congratulate him, at least. So they have this kind of uncomfortable, awkward conversation where Michael's just very tense, and because Michael is tense, Dr. Angela is also tense. And at the end, it kind of goes into some sense of comfort, right? So let's take a look at the questions. Question 1, in which season is this story set? So we have the options autumn, spring, summer, and not enough information. Usually they establish the setting around the first paragraph, first 2 or 3, all right? Sometimes they embed it within there. Yeah, so let's just take a look at the very first paragraph, and well, upon reading it, we already have the words sunshine, right? Sunshine, there's a far off gums in Tidbinbilla Peak, and Mount Tinbinbilla. We have this setting where they're kind of like in a secluded area, or at least they're out like in nature, in Canberra at least. We also have a bit of a breeze, okay? Yeah, so it's relatively warm. So we can't say it's autumn, because autumn is very cold. Or not necessarily like too cold, but relatively cold. There is enough information. There is enough information for us to know this. Now we have the options of spring and summer. This part, I think it's just best to really think a bit beyond the books. So spring, there would be blooming flowers and stuff. There really isn't. Yeah, there's not blooming flowers. So we can just kind of assume that it's summer, right? Yeah. that's mainly it. Just think of spring, like the key thing to that is like flowers, gardens, like the whole phrase of spring has sprung, like really consider that. That's really it, I would say. Because summer isn't like explicitly stated in this extract. Next we have, why does Angela initially feel uncomfortable with Michael? Okay, so we have his wide dark eyes and spiky hair, he lives alone, he tends to watch her closely, and he's obsessed with dinosaurs. Okay, so there is actually a part in this extract that specifically states that Angela is uncomfortable, and it is about here. I would also like you guys to note the dialogue because this does get important later on, so just keep that in mind. So specifically with the first two sentences, Michael Wallace was thin with wide dark eyes and spiky black hair. He had a habit of watching you closely that Angela found disconcerting. Disconcerting, just in general, means like unsettling, right? So we're getting it from this sentence specifically. He had a habit of watching you closely that Angela found disconcerting. So Angela was uncomfortable because Michael watched her too closely. So the answer in that case would be C. So that's just a description of Michael. That's not why she found him uncomfortable. He lives alone with his mother. When this was brought up initially, she didn't feel uncomfortable at all. She just was like, I think she was just surprised. She just responded with O, I'm pretty sure. Because he was obsessed with dinosaurs, this is not true. She's actually really intrigued by the fact that he's really interested in dinosaurs. She came there specifically to commend him for his picture of a dinosaur as well. Cool. Now, question 3. I want to focus on reading this question and like asking, just figure out what the question is actually asking us to do. So which of these lines tells us that Angela is feeling more comfortable with Michael? So initially, right, Angela feels uncomfortable because he is watching her closely. I'm also referring to the part of the extract where he offers her like orange juice or coffee, and she's like, oh no, I don't want it, it's all right. Because this is a symbol of comfort and ease, right? Think about when you feel comfortable in your friend's house or a guardian's house or just anyone's place, right? You wouldn't really feel like a bother asking for like a cup of water, right? It would be okay. But Angela does not feel this way, right? Because she's so uncomfortable, but Michael watching her so closely, he's also a bit tense. So question 3, right? Michael looked out the window, then back at Angela. That seems a bit awkward, a bit hesitant, a bit uncomfortable. So that's not true. Like the emotion that I'm getting from this sentence is like discomfort. There was a pause. This, I think, is either awkward or it's well, yeah, actually it is awkward. I think this is awkward, especially if it's like a first time meeting and this is the case for them. So this really emphasizing the awkwardness of their conversations or their interactions. Through the window, she could see a new house going up the next door, wooden frame and piles of bricks. Now, this line, I would say, is not relevant at all to this, to her relationship with Michael. This is simply an observation that Angela is making as she looks out the window. So we can't actually, like, there's not enough information. We can't even say that, we can't, it's just not related to Michael, basically, so that's why that's not the answer. Now, question D, maybe some orange juice would be nice, said Angel. So before I really went into detail about what it means to ask for a drink and like accept it from a host. So now that she is finally accepting this drink, or at least she's suggesting like, hey, like I think I would like a drink, she's feeling a bit more at ease now. So yeah, basically that's why D is the answer. So we have this poem, about 4 stanzas, called Funeral Blues. I just want to point out something that's pretty interesting about this poem, which is that they title it Funeral Blues, like the feeling of grief, right? This person is mourning, grieving over the loss or the death of someone very close to them. We don't really know who these people are. That's not the point of the poem. It's about the emotion, right? So the purpose of this poem is to communicate this grief, this mourning, sadness, etc. Right? I also find it interesting how they titled like funeral, right? So funerals are like they tend to be fixed to like a certain place or a certain time, right? So maybe it's at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, right? And it's at a graveyard. Or maybe it's at a church, it's at somebody's house, something along those lines, right? Something really interesting about this poem is that this emotion transcends that. It's not fixed to 1 month of grieving. It's not fixed to a church or a graveyard. It is everywhere. I think that's really emphasized in the second stanza. Yeah, so just something like in terms of the purpose that I think would be nice to know as we answer these questions. So for question 4, the main message of the second stanza, which I've just kind of gone through. Let's just read it though. So, let airplanes circle, moaning overhead, scribbling the sky, the message he is dead. Put crepe bows around the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear cotton gloves. So, we have this image of like airplanes just kind of like says let airplanes circle moaning overhead. They're not really functioning as they should. Airplanes have like their set destination, or they're flying around here. They're not really doing that. Scribbling on the sky that the message he is dead. When a person dies, the entire world doesn't really need to know. Sorry if that sounds mean, but because people die every single day, we genuinely cannot afford these resources to make everybody know this person is dead unless they are incredibly significant, right? Yeah. So then we have put crepe bows around the white necks of the public doves, like they're trying to kill them. Policemen are even like mourning, right? So we just have this like this stop to the world, right? And everyone is just grieving, or they're feeling the same sadness, or they're dying, something like along those lines. So the main message is a bit beyond than just a close friend dying. It's like that's the message of like that's what they want to communicate to the rest of the world, but that's not actually what we're being told. The speaker wants everyone to mourn. Now, this is the answer, right? Because the world is stopping and feeling sad and grief and all those like struggles of somebody dying, right? And that's what the composer is trying to tell us. Like, I want everyone to feel the loss that I am feeling, or the loss of this person because they were so significant to me, or I loved them so much. See, the speaker is a person of power. This is not true. So here's the thing. I think the key word here is like let, right? It doesn't mean it's actually happening. Like this is just trying to say like, oh, like we should. This let is actually equivalent to we should. It's not supposed to be taken literally, is what I'm trying to communicate. D, these orders must be obeyed. That is also not true. This poem is very emotive. They're trying to say like, oh, well, we should just do this because I'm feeling so sad. That's not, but this person, like these quote unquote orders do not need to be obeyed. These are just what the composer thinks that everyone should do while they are mourning over the loss of he, or whoever he is. Okay, so let's move on to question 5. What is the main message of the third stanza? So here's my north, south, east, and west, my working week, my Sunday rest, my noon, midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. Okay, so there's one key word here I want to look at, which is forever, okay? Forever means like, like never ending, keeps going on and on. And the way that this person is described, the way he is described in the in the 3 lines of the third stanza is like, he's everything, okay? North, south, east, and west, like that's like that's four directions, you know. My working week and my Sunday rest, like working week is Monday to Friday, Sunday rest. So this person could work with this, they could be working together, but they're also there to, you know, relax together. So they're not like separate, they're like everything. My noon, my midnight, my talk, my song, my noon, my midnight. So like taking up like the time of day, my talk and my song. So they're there when they want to communicate. Think of like talk as in communicate, like convince, and my song as something that's very calming and relaxing, right? Just these three lines really communicate the breadth of this person and how much this person really means, or like how much he, the person that is deceased, really means to the composer. And I think the real kicker is the last line. It says, "I thought that love would last forever." Right? I was wrong. Okay. So this person thought that this whole honeymoon phase was going to be for the longest period of their time and more, right? Longest period of their life and more. But once this person, or he, has died, they were proven wrong. So really, this third stanza really emphasizes how much this person means to them. They are their everything, like truly. So it's not just, you know, they have worked together. I'll leave B for now because I think that could have been one of you guys' answers. D, the speaker is lost in thought. That is not true. And if that was true, then we need more. We need it to be a bit more specific. And C, the deceased meant everything to the speaker, which is what we have communicated. I wouldn't say that it's B, right? Simply because that is the last like line. Okay, the last line. I thought the love would last forever. I was wrong. Specifically here, the I was wrong, right? 3 words compared to here, and we have some really intense imagery and symbolism, personification even. Oh, not personification. Sorry. Some really intense symbolism, metaphor, like a lot of techniques in these first 3 lines, just to really emphasize what this person meant to them. So I think because of that, that would be the main focus, and not that the person has died. Yeah. So unfortunately we can't go through all the answers, but I just want to bring back the goals for test 22. So please keep in mind that as you do future tests, just these goals or these questions, just so you can extract the most information you can out of these texts. And yeah, so have a good week, and good luck with any exams or assessments. So yeah, see you next week. Bye.